innocent, and here are the top stories. Niger school abduction linked to camp of terror commander killed in Air Force strike. Maga community holds special prayer over Kebbi schoolgirls abduction. Nigerian government moves Nnamdi Kanu from DSS custody in Abuja to Sokoto prison. And army denies alleged plan to force Nigerian youths into military service. Details now. Thank you for staying tuned. The news at 6 begins with fresh intelligence linking the recent abduction of school children in parts of Kebbi and Niger State to the killing of a notorious terror commander, Babangida, during the Nigerian Air Force airstrikes in Niger State. A credible security source told the news agency of Nigeria that communities along the riverside axis of Shiroro have been celebrating following confirmation of the death of Babangida. He said that Babangida was a key lieutenant to the feared bandit kingpin Dogo Gide. According to him, the commander died on November 18 while receiving treatment for injuries sustained during an air interdiction mission at the outskirts of the Kurebe community where several terrorists were neutralized. The source said the abductions were likely orchestrated by loyalists of the slain commander as a retaliatory show of force aimed at reasserting the factions relevant after suffering major operational setbacks from sustained military pressure. Following the commander's death, community leaders from Kwaki, Bersidna, Chukuba, Buwidna, Kuchidna and other villages visited the Paleli home of Gide's mother on November 19, where she was seen grieving. A senior intelligence officer who requested anonymity described the killing as a significant blow to the network, but one that the faction may attempt additional reprisal attacks targeting vulnerable communities, schools and security personnel. He said security agencies had been placed on heightened alert with ongoing operations intensified to prevent further attacks and facilitate the rescue of abducted students. Residents have expressed relief over the commander's elimination, saying it had raised hopes of reduced bandit activity in the hard-hit area. Meanwhile, military authorities have assured that coordinated land and air operations will continue until terror groups' capabilities are fully degraded across the region. Meanwhile, as the search for the abducted government girls' comprehensive senior secondary school MAGA students intensifies, the community has resorted to divine intervention, holding a special prayer session for the safe return of the students abducted earlier this week. The chairman of the Danko Wasagu local government area, Husseini Aliyu, confirmed the development in a phone interview today. He explained that though he would not be able to attend the prayer session due to a series of official engagement, he had mandated his deputy to represent him. Aliyu noted that the entire community was still deeply shaken by the incident and had turned to spiritual supplication as authorities intensified efforts to rescue the victims. And armed bandits invaded the school in the early hours of Monday and kidnapped 25 students, sparking widespread outrage and renewed calls for stronger security around schools in the northwest. In a recent development, the Nigerian government has reportedly transferred detained leader of the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, from the custody of the Department of State Services, the DSS facility in Abuja, to a correctional center in Sokoto State. The development was made public today by Kanu's lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, who announced the transfer in a post on X. He wrote that Nnamdi Kanu has just been moved from DSS to Abuja to the correctional facility prison in Sokoto, so far away from his lawyers, family, loved ones, and well-wishers. Nnamdi Kanu's legal team had condemned the judgment of the Federal High Court in Abuja, which on Thursday convicted and sentenced the IPOB leader to life imprisonment on terrorism charges. The lawyers had described the verdict delivered by Justice James Omotosho as a travesty of justice and vowed to challenge it at the Court of Appeal. Speaking to journalists after the court session, Kanu's special counsel, Barrister Aloy Ejimako, said the ruling marked a dark day in Nigeria's judicial history. He insisted that Kanu's advocacy for self-determination did not amount to a criminal act. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Army has rejected claims that the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Waidi Shaibu, is planning to forcibly recruit Nigerian youths aged 18 and above into military service. In a statement issued in Abuja today, the Acting Director of Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Apollonia Anele, called the viral report a malicious fabrication designed to mislead the people and sow fear. She stressed that at no point did the Chief of Army Staff threaten mandatory enlistment for youth who do not volunteer. She clarified that he has never made any such statement in any official forum or public engagement. The viral post had also alleged that 10,000 soldiers recruited last year have gone missing, a claim the Army spokesperson dismissed as entirely unfounded. Lieutenant Colonel Anele emphasized that spreading false information of this nature is a criminal offense and anyone involved could be tracked, apprehended and prosecuted under the law. The Nigerian Army further urged the public to rely solely on verified communication channels and official social media accounts for credible information. The Army spokesperson stressed that the Army remains committed to transparent recruitment processes and maintaining public trust. However, the Nigerian Army recently announced plans to recruit a new batch of soldiers to strengthen national security. You are still listening to the news at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. We'll take a short break and return with more news and the news analysis segment. To stay tuned. Welcome back. Now, bandits who abducted worshippers at the Christ Apostolic Church CAC in the Ekiti local government area of Kwara State have demanded 100 million naira as ransom for each of the abductees. At least 30 people were reportedly taken away by the bandits who attacked the church in Eruku on Tuesday night. 3 people were also said to have been killed during the attack while the worshippers were holding a service. A community leader and the Olorieta of Eruku, Chief Olusegun Olukotun, whose 4 relatives were among the kidnapped victims, said the bandits had started contacting family members. Lukotun, who said he was in the church with 5 of his family members when the incident occurred, said he and one of his wards escaped the attack at about 6:06 p.m. through the church's window. He noted that from what was gathered from the kidnappers' camp, that the kidnappers have grouped the victims according to their relations and are now calling the people through each of the groups. He noted that some people in the community have received calls from the kidnappers demanding 100 million naira for each person, but as regards his own people, he said he has not received any call concerning them, and so he's still waiting. The pastor of the church attacked by the bandits, Abiodun Bamidele, had said the attackers abducted about 35 people. He noted that when the bandits came, they kidnapped almost 30 to 35 members of the church. Irked by the incident, youth of the Eruku community staged a protest, blocking the Ilorin-Kaba highway at the entrance of the town and causing heavy traffic disruption. The youth alleged that the attack, which lasted close to an hour, occurred without any response from security operatives stationed in the community. A youth leader, Peter Adesina, also criticized the police, saying that despite the community's support in building facilities for the division, officers did not act when residents needed them most. Governor Nasir Idris of Kebbi State has queried the withdrawal of military personnel from Government Girls Comprehensive Secondary School, Maga, shortly before the abduction of students by bandits. Idris raised the concern today in Bernin, Kebbi, while receiving the president of the Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, Joe Ajero, who paid him a sympathy visit over the incident. He said the situation was unfortunate, especially as the government had received intelligence reports on the planned attack and immediately convened a security meeting. I'm now being joined by Mr. Awa Omiko of the Sunday editorial desk for the news analysis segment on the news at 6 this evening. How are you doing, Mr. Awa Omiko? Good evening to you, and thank you for joining me today.
Oh, good evening, Chairman. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. I hope you're doing good.
Yes, sir.
All right, then. Let's talk about the newest development in the case of Nnamdi Kanu.
That's great. I can hear you.
Can you hear me now, Mr. Awa?
Yes.
Right. There is a new development in the case of Nnamdi Kanu, who was yesterday sentenced to life imprisonment on 7-count charge of terrorism. His lawyer, Aloy Ejimako, made us know in an ex-post today that he has been moved from the DSS custody in Abuja to a correctional center, that is a prison in Sokoto State. Now, his lawyer says that he's been taken far away from his lawyers, far away from his family, far away from his friends, and that it will be more difficult for these people to assess him. There are also concerns over his safety, over his life, if he right there in the Sokoto prison. Now, his lawyers are also asking that how come he wasn't transferred to any other prison, maybe in Abuja, not even in Lagos, not even in the southeast where he hails from, but all the way to the north in Sokoto. What do you think this actually portends for him? Are they right to fear for his life and his safety in the Sokoto prison?
Well, the issue is that the Nigerian state is not truthful to itself. That's one. And secondly, the case of Nnamdi Kanu is not a case of terrorism. It's a case of agitation. So that is one. That is where government has got again. And when we begin to look at transferring him from Lagos to maybe any part of the country, that is less possible. You will even see the case of Ghanaian in those days and other people that government felt to be an irritant to them. Once they commit any crime in Lagos, they will take them up north to make sure that they are out of the public jail. The view that has hit me, Nnamdi Kanu's case will be a boon in the neck for the government, because one, he has been wrongfully accused and wrongfully judged. Nnamdi's case is a case of political agitation. And not a case of terrorism. It is the same case. It is the way they need to talk about government and the way they do their things. What is the same case with Sunday Idaho, Dakobo, and another agitators? What are they all saying? We want to be given justice, and in an attempt to label him a terrorist, is an attempt to bury the core issue, which Nnamdi is agitating for. And until such issues are looked into, they will continue to come to the fore. Besides, he said, let there be social justice to the people from the east. Let there be an inclusiveness in governance and in economic activities. Let there be equality. But at this level, you are marginalizing them. And when he becomes a force, you accuse him of being a terror or a terrorist. You should have forgotten that once upon a time there was a man in this country who later became a head of state that said if he is not elected into power, he made the country ungovernable, and we all laughed over it. And we didn't know that is a threat. Hello?
Mr. Awa Omiko, you're talking about late former President Muhammadu Buhari.
Yes, and that is a threat to our national security. But we did nothing. We allowed that to do. And what is different from what that man has said, from what the late president has said, and Kanu? Hello?
I'm with you, Mr. Miko. Yes, I can hear you. Please go ahead.
So the case of Nnamdi Kanu is a case of wrong labeling. And because he has been wrongly labeled, he has been wrongly judged. And our government came not to understand him, whereas they are trying to bury the real issue under the carpet. An attempt to do that is an attempt to continue the injustice being meted to a segmented group of people. Nnamdi Kanu never asked for too much. If you know you don't want these people, let them go. Why would you, at the same time, you are marginalizing them, you are keeping them and hurting them? No, it is never done. And anyway, the hope is not lost upon Nnamdi because we still have there still the Supreme Court to decide. And until that is done, we can now say yes, all is lost. But for now, there could still be some negotiation, there could still be some rethinking, and the government the president still has the power to use his veto. And until all that are lost, which is then we can now say yes, Nnamdi Kanu has been incarcerated finally to life imprisonment. But for now, no. Because the processing investigation is on the way. And I will still want those that are calling legalism to be legalism, because that is not the true picture of the matter. Thank you.
Mr. Awa Omiko, yesterday we saw the judge actually giving an order that Nnamdi Kanu should be kept in protective custody. This Sokoto state that he's been taken to, is that the protective custody? Meanwhile, Moele Shore is saying that he was secretly moved, that they did not even want Nigerians to know that he has been taken away from DSS custody in Abuja. Does it mean that Sokoto is where he will serve out this life sentence, or that's where he will be until his lawyers go to the Court of Appeal and maybe this case gets to the Supreme Court? That's Sokoto prison where he's been taken now, according to his lawyers. Is that the protective custody? Is that where he will be safe? Or would he have been safer if he continued to remain in DSS custody?
Well, government has the right to take him to any prison. Government has the right. Remember the case of Parolo, he was taken to Calabar. I remember the case of Kanu, taken to, I think, the Niger state of Kanu. So the government has the right to keep him anywhere where they feel there wouldn't be a disruption of the peace, because it is assumed that Nnamdi Kanu has acquired a large following, and any attempt to do anything obnoxious or anything untruthful or uncalled for could actually lead to the disturbance of peace. So when he has been secretly moved, it's a way of calming the nerves of his followers. But be that as it may, the ultimate aim and the ultimate goal is that he must not die in prison, and he must remain, and must be well kept till the time or any time or at any place it is called for, and that his life must not be taken either by carelessness, either by planned accident, either by mistake or whatever, that he must be brought out alive whenever he's needed. That is just the ultimate thing. So whenever it's taken, for now, it is insignificant. Thank you.
Mr. Awa Omiko, there are reports that the Southeast leaders are pushing or are rallying for a political solution. Is it too late for that at this time? I mean, while this case had been dragging on before his conviction and then subsequent sentencing, is that when the political solution would have come to play? Is it too late for a political solution at this time? We know that this is not the first time some leaders in the Southeast are pushing for a political solution. Even the lawmaker who represents his own constituency was Obi Agwocha was in court yesterday and pleaded that the judge should temper justice with mercy. We saw the late leader of Ohaneze Ndigbo actually also telling the president, release him to my custody, he's my son. If he constitutes any nuisance or causes any problem, you can put that on me. If the president or the federal government had not listened to all of those cries before now, is it now that they will actually listen?
No, the decision is endless. It's always good to judge war than to war. It's endless. But the issue is that government is trying to make a case. Government is trying to say, this man is an ex-convict. Even if we are releasing him, we are releasing him just for the main reason that we people pleaded and we now release him. But that ex-convict will still be on there. And when we have an ex-convict, we have a limited power, a limited role to play in the civil society. Government is just want to tag him, but in the negotiation and those negotiating should be able to put that into cognizance that the president and the president has the veto power to remove any label put upon him. And the case negotiation has started, and the president has seemed to be stubborn or maintain or pretending not to know what is in the pipeline. So now that been criminalized and jailed, the negotiation can still continue because it is endless until he is released or until he releases his life. That is why we can say no more negotiation. But for now, he's still dealing, negotiation can still continue. Mr. President may come out to me and say, I'm using my power as the president to forgive him and to grant him amnesty, not as others have been granted amnesty. And once you are granted amnesty, you still know what it means. It means you have to fight low. And those are some of the weapons the government is trying to use on him. So that even when he finally granted amnesty, people will say, no, please don't talk more because there are lots of people that stood for you as surety. And that is the way of calling him and making him a docile citizen. I hope that is not the way Mr. President, the government is thinking. But if it is that way, that has not really made the real issues on ground, the social justice, and that advocacy is pushing to be forgotten. Because if Kanu is quiet today, there will be another Kanu tomorrow. So far as that issue is ongoing, and so far as there is social exclusion in the Southeast, and so far as marginalization, and so far as a segmental group of people that believe that the illegal of that or people or people from that area should not be had or be made to give or be given responsible duties in government. Or since all these are on, that social justice has not been solved, there will still be another Kanu if this time is corrected. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Awamiko, let's talk about terrorism and increased incidences of abduction of school children in Nigeria that's been taking place since the beginning of the week. It is quite unfortunate. Many Nigerians feel helpless and hopeless about the situation and feel that they can only resort to prayers. The Maga community in Kebbi State have resorted to holding special prayers, praying for the return of the abducted girls. But while we're talking about this, some Nigerians are of the opinion that the reason why we have seen an upsurge in the abduction, especially of school children, is that these terrorists want to use them as a shield just in case the Nigerian government decides to take the US government or Donald Trump up on his offer of military assistance to Nigeria. Now they want to use these children as a shield so that even if they want to bomb their hideouts, they would think about the civilian casualty, the children around them, and not going like that. Is that a sentiment? Is that an opinion that you also hold?
I think that opinion does not really work as far as I'm concerned. Because before now, the first school children they kidnapped, was everything, was that US threat, the first, the second, the third, were there threats from US before they did that. That does not work out. And I keep on saying that we are trading, that the government is trading with its youth. We are systematically eliminating our youth. That is exactly what the government is doing. Because this same kidnap, we have security in the intelligence issues. Intelligence findings show them that security, that kidnappers are coming. And the soldiers in the army, the soldiers in that school left that school by 3 a.m. And the kidnappers came and did their havoc by 3:45. Is that no need to query those who gave the order for the security men to leave the school?
Is actually asking that question, saying who gave the order. But some people are saying, isn't he the one that people should be asking that question as the governor and chief
of
the state?
No, because the law does not give power to the state governor to control the military or even the commissioner of police in the state. Mr. Governor has no power, no right to control him. So that is why our constitution, we are not really joking about this thing. Just 2 days ago, I quoted the Indian Kanu for you. I said, the right of the state is a foundation. Our constitution, especially 1999 constitution, is one of the setbacks of this country. It's setting us back. And that shouldn't, until we begin to review those laws, things things like this will begin to happen, the Mr. Governor will be in the state, and I get a counter order from Abuja. Mr. Governor, the governor said, the state said Mr. Governor is the chief security officer. And you will see somebody that is a commander with from Abuja give order that will surpass that of the chief security officer in the state. That is the law, that is the country we are practicing. That is the law, that of law we are practicing. So the federal government should look into, should alter the Nigerian state. Who gave that order? Why was that order given? Does it mean that the Boko Haram, that the people are stronger than our army? Or does it mean that when they were coming, we could not reinforce our data to foil them? Why is it that the intelligence order was made as acquiring? So who gave these orders? By the time you put one, and even I learned, according to information, that the US government before knew about it, and there was another, should they catch these people? But yet, the Nigerian government was dealing with the issues, not knowing what to do at this point in time. You see, when you begin to look at all this, you begin to ask, why are we like this? We are dancing the dance of shame to the public, to the globe, telling them we are not capable to handle our internal affairs. A segment of people are terrorizing the country, and yet we grant them amnesty, and yet we call them bandits. We don't call them terrorists. We call them bandits. When we hate them now, we call them bandits. After a time, we grant them amnesty, and after a time, we engage them into a security architecture to begin to tackle their role. What a vicious circle, and what is the dance of stupidity we are engaging in fighting insecurity. Why can't we do something to it? Look at the life, look at the trauma, look at the psychological torture these parents and children are going through. Do you know what it means to be under their account? And yet today, we say, God, we are praying to God. We let us pray, God will do it. If we don't take action, nothing God will do. We need not to sit on it. Nigeria is drifting into chaos. And if nothing is done, if you get to a level where everybody becomes his own chief of staff, we begin to carry arms. And by the time we get to that level, you know that Nigeria will be a safe state. And we don't pray for us to experience it. And because this is the level, this is the place, this is the area, that is the situation we are gradually drifting into. Most people can't sleep. Most people can't travel to the states because of insecurity. For how long shall we continue to kill our children? For how long shall we continue to allow the best of our ability to go to be killed like cockroaches and houseflies? It is high time the government stands up against all this, or else that chaos. The governor of Togo said we can only see the beginning of war. We can't see the end. And all these things, the US people are seeing it. And when US coming, they come in diverse and different ways. And I pray, may Nigeria never get to that level. In Jesus' name. Amen.
Mr. As Nigerians are religious people, we cannot rely on God for everything. Yes, it is good to worship God, it is good to pray, but on many situations, we should be holding our government accountable. And as much as we call on God, we should be calling on our government even more. Because when these people are campaigning, they swear to protect the lives and properties of Nigerians. And so when we have our citizens, our children, in Niger State, parents have gone to the school, they've withdrawn their children out of the school. In Kwara State, in 4 local government schools have been closed. So not only is insecurity ravaging the different locations and different communities, but education is also under attack. How can you convince parents to send their children to school if their children will be attacked and abducted from these schools? Even while they're at home, they cannot still guarantee the safety and security of their children. Anyway, there is a report that the Kebbi State Police Command has warned groups, people, civil society organizations not to stage a protest, saying any plan to stage a protest will not be allowed in Kebbi State. One will say this is a case of beating a child and telling him not to cry. The people are not happy about what's going on. If they want to express their grievance or they want to express their sadness or their anger or their annoyance through protest, isn't the police supposed to protect them and ensure that that protest is not hijacked by hoodlums and bandits instead of saying don't come out to protest?
Nigerian law even grant the citizens the power to protest. So that police commissioner should probably be held responsible. In fact, he should be a saboteur. His advice should be let there be a peaceful protest, because that police commissioner doesn't know if we be the next in line by tomorrow, even this night. If a one-star general is killed, a special squad, a leader of a special squad is killed like a house fly. What is the common police commissioner? So people should come out en masse. We shouldn't be at our cocoons or whatever, or to our halls or halls to say we are praying. No, this is not the case of prayers. There's always God angle in everything. God has done his own. He has given us the wisdom. Let's all stand and attack these people. They are not more than us. Where did they get their arms? And who is giving them information? Who is telling them? Who is buying those machines? For them? They are Nigerians. And all Nigerians are failed because insecurity has taken over. They have failed in their oath of office. They have failed in their oath of allegiance. And all the politicians need to be tried and retried for this evil. They shouldn't be allowed to go scot-free because they are part of the insubordination and sabotage going on. So Nigeria, it is high time Nigerians come out, because even in the military we are not sure because these criminals have infiltrated the military and are only going ahead to give information to the Boko Haram. And look at what is happening. Do you know the economic implication in the next 5, 10, 15 years in the educational sector? Do you know the economic implication in the next 5, 10 years in the social sector? These are the same news. If you ask them to go to school today, because of the trauma or the side effects they'll be running. And one thing we do not know, just like that's like a policy, a motto in UI, I think it should be Nnamdi Hall. Where they say justice to one is injustice to one is injustice to all. As you are touching Kebbi State, as you are touching Borno, as you are touching other states, Lagos State is indirectly receiving the bombs. Because if those that are not safe there will run down to Lagos State, or to run down to places where there are reasonable peace, and you have stealing, you have robbery, you have minor crimes going on. And this is why we at the side that claim to be at peace should only stand and support the people up north to make sure that this insecurity is checked and brought to book. And everybody that has been pointed that has been fingered to be part of it, not only to be tried, but to be killed as he has killed others. They should be killed, no matter your level. Beginning from those that imported them into this country to those that have been guiding them and funding them. They are all one. Nigeria is not safe. We are not even safe. You can't even sleep at night because of all this. And now because of this, look at what is happening in Lagos. Every angle you see, every street you see a lot of people from a lot of northerners in the street. And begin to wonder what is happening. It's simply because they should have come here to struggle for survival. And that is why we have to stand against insecurity at all costs. We need to plead, we need to even protest. Go to the president. On the streets, everywhere, protest against insecurity. It is a way to know that Nigerians are not happy. And nobody will come to do it for us if we do not practice it by ourselves. Thank you.
All right, Mr. Awa Omiko, yesterday the United States Congress began an open hearing on Nigeria's designation as a country of particular concern, and a lot was said. They even reached out to victims of the Yellow-Water massacre earlier a few months ago in Benue State. Now, during that hearing, right, can you hear me properly, Mr. Awa Omiko?
Yes.
All right. Now, during that hearing, a lot was said, but I want to play a clip from a particular lawmaker. And in this clip, she made what one could call damning allegations against the Nigerian federal government and indeed against the Nigerian president, almost alleging that he's involved or tolerating acts of violating religious freedom. All of this is still linked to that terrorism we've been talking about. So I want you to take a listen to this clip so that we can talk about it.
Nigeria's CPC designation last March. Thankfully, President Trump listened, and he made his decision based on two criteria. One, under the International Religious Freedom Act, that these were severe violations of religious freedom, and that the government of Nigeria, President Tinubu, was either actively engaged or tolerating these violations. Those are the criteria.
Now, she said that the government, and even mentioned President Bola Tinubu, is either actively engaged or tolerating this. Is that what is actually going on here?
Yes, by his body, by his action. Yes, the man may be in his mind free. The man may be in his mind. You know that actions and inactions. The man may be in his mind not free from it, but his actions, the people surrounding me, the actions, in fact, beginning from his vice, during the time of election campaigning, did the people not accuse his vice? To what extent has the Nigerian government gone to investigate his vice? And look at the judgments. Look at the judgments. Look at what has been happening. Within 2 years, 2 to 3 years reign, there has been a lot of kidnapping. There has been a lot of killings. And this killing just against Christianity. Look at what happened in Kwara State. Though we may not truly say all of them are Christians, but just look at what happened in Kwara State. Look at what has been happening in other states. And to what extent, to what level, at what degree has Mr. President voiced out that this is exactly what we're going to take, and this is exactly what we're going to follow, and they seem to have followed it. It's not enough by changing your service chiefs. Have you investigated the military to know who is who? Have you investigated them? The killings, even the military leaders. To what extent have you investigated them? We heard of a coup, and the next thing we heard that some people were relieved of the military were relieved. Is that the best solution? Why can't we apply that same solution to insecurity? It's a shame. It's a shame on this nation that we can't even solve our insecurity. Why can't you? People have been saying we want state police. It is said, when the drummer changes the beating, the dancers changes their dancing step. The situation has changed. Mr. President needs to change his security architecture. Look for ways of encouraging state police. Bring state police to board. Once you bring state police on board, you will make sure that you meet all these people. Encourage vigilante. Not giving them clubs. You give somebody clubs to fight somebody with A45. Is that not asking the person to run commit suicide? Equipping them and make sure that anybody caught. Even how many of these bandits have been caught anyway? Are we saying our police are not working? Or the police just only are they only good at attacking protesters? How many of the bandits have been caught and tried and punished? How many of their sponsors have been called to book? These are some of the evidences that prove that Mr. President is culpable. He's involved. His actions tell that he is culpable, and there's nothing else he can do to deny that. But except when these things are called, these evidences are brought to book and checked, and see that yes, this man has been trying. That is what you can say. not involved.
Mr. Awamiko, it's one thing to say that one is culpable or complicit in an act to allege that they are culpable or complicit, and it's another thing to say that they are tolerating that act or sitting and watching while it happens or not doing enough to ensure that it's not happening. Is it really fair to the president to allege his complicity in acts of terrorism being carried out across the country? If you say that he's not doing enough or that the military is trying their best but their best is not enough, that is one thing, but to allege complicity, that is a total different ballgame, which is what the U.S. Congress is saying. Shouldn't we be debunking that for the president and actually telling him to do better?
The answer remains no, because all the books, all the rules ends on his table. That is why he seems they are accusing of being involved. He has the power to say this or that, because all the books, everything ends on his table, and that is why he is held responsible. But if he had been a lower officer, you will say his hands are tied. And I agree with you to some extent that his hands are tied because of the type of constitution we are running. But how are we having veto in terms of security? And in terms of emergencies like this, you don't look at the constitution. You use your veto power. It is his inability to use that is veto power. Because by right and by the system we are practicing, he's not an ordinary president. He's an executive president. Our president is stronger than the president of the United States of America. If you put both together, if you put both side by side, the United States of America's president is an ordinary president. Our own is executive president, which has the power to declare life and death. And that is why it assumes that everybody is putting the blame on him. Let him veto it. We can declare emergency based on the power given unto him. He can declare emergency in those areas. Do you know what it means to kill somebody? And these are children. We are not even talking of their teachers. We are not talking of the women who raped. We are not talking of the men killed. We are not talking of other properties destroyed. But we are talking of human life. In fact, this is like we are in a war zone. War zone would have even been better because we are sure that there is bullet, there is infighting, you know where to run to. But this one is you are in war zone. Even in your village, even in your hut, they will come for you. And that is not a right situation. For an executive president in a democracy, no. When U.S. government says he is involved, it is one thing to just look. Why would a president just look and turn the eyes the other way? But because we will be failed to speak the truth. Let him put actions into all his words, and you see that all the things will change.
All right.
Remember once upon a time, IBB asked the former commissioner of police, he said, where is Amini? Can that policy be applied?
All right.
And within that week, Amini was caught. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Awamiko. Our time is actually fast spent and we need to go, but I thank you for joining me on the news at 6 this evening. I do appreciate you.
Thank you.
All right, enjoy the rest of your evening. You have been listening to the news at 6 right here on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. Just before we wrap up, let's take a look at the top stories again. You heard that the Niger school abduction has been linked to the camp of a terror commander killed in an Air Force strike. Maga community holds special prayer over Kebbi schoolgirls abduction. Nigerian government moves Nnamdi Kanu from DSS custody Abuja to Sokoto prison, and the army denies alleged plan to force Nigerian youths into military service. And that's a wrap on news at 6 on Voice of the People 90.3 FM. My name is Chioma Innocent. Good evening and thank you for listening. Do stay tuned. The evening rush will come up at exactly 7 p.m.